ancient monk high in the Tibetan mountains that has reached an altered state near nirvana, kind of a blobvana, if you will. And there are rumors that he has attained a state of 0 calorie burn.
Couch body.
I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 I'm gonna get myself a modem.
Hello and welcome to Lunch Therapy. I'm your host, Joel Marshall, and today is Interview Friday, where we bring on a guest and talk about comedy, talk about life, talk about how to keep your mind right, talk about how to lower your stress levels when your guest has not arrived yet, which is happening right now. My guest is a comedian. She is an actress. She is a writer. And she has been, I met her at the Hollywood Comedy, which is a place here in Los Angeles where comedians go to work out their craft. And it's just it's a kind of a hole in the wall. It's a dark room. A lot of times people go there in the daytime, so it's really bright outside. And you go in, you get in this dark room. There's a microphone, there's a stage, and you work it out. And so a lot of the stuff that you hear there is very like personal, very in progress kind of stuff. We all try to keep a real positive attitude. So it's really important that the host of each hour of this open mic is enthusiastic to try and present a simulation of what it's like when you're in a club doing your comedy. Because in the clubs, they want your stuff to be polished. You want to present yourself in the best possible way. And so these kind of places like the Hollywood Comedy, the Fourth Wall, and many other places in Los Angeles now provide this place. It used to be you had to look on this list of all these open mics all over Los Angeles. And then you had to like pick one and go there. And usually what happened is there'd be a ton of comics in there and just crowded in there trying to get some stage time. And they would pull names out of a hat. You'd put your name in a hat and maybe you could go, maybe you didn't, but it was so high stakes because you had to wait around for so long. And a lot of times you didn't even get to go on stage. One of the places that you did this was at the Comedy Store too, and they still have this. It's called Potluck, where you would go. Back in the day when I used to do it, it was in the belly room, and you would go early on. You put your name in a hat, and then they'd post a list of who's going to go. And a lot of times, sometimes what would happen is like a major comedian would come in and bump everybody. So I actually lived across the street, so I would go across the street, watch some TV, come back when my time was happening, and a lot of times there'd be a comic on there just doing like an hour. So you'd go later and later and later. Anyway, it was really good. It was a really good experience though, because you got a chance to do something in a big club. And am I rambling? I think I am, because my guest has not arrived on the show yet. My guest is Lina Green. She's a fantastic comedian. Anyway, let's move on and breathe.
Hi, get yourself some trash can of merch at Joe Marshall's Lunch Therapy.
You can get your merchandise if you're on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, or you can go to lunch-therapy.com. Lunch Therapy is a place where we take a break from what's going on in the world, because we need it. We need a break sometimes, especially now. I mean, here in Los Angeles, it is just horrible atrocities are happening. I mean, the way it's being portrayed on the media, I don't know if a lot of you are seeing it that are not in Los Angeles, but what's happening essentially is ICE is coming in and taking people and sending them off to God knows where. But it's being presented that the government is coming in and liberating Los Angeles. I got to tell you, immigrants in Los Angeles are the lifeblood of Los Angeles. Los Angeles would not be what it is if it weren't for immigrants. Vibrant, eclectic community of hardworking people, hardworking artists. A lot of times what we see, in the outside world of Los Angeles, we see, the dramatizations of the gangs and the Hollywood glitz and glamour and all the surfacey kind of stuff. But what we miss is the culture of Los Angeles, which is a long-standing, deep-rooted culture that is multi-ethnicities, multiple people from all over the world. A lot of them from South America. Hardworking, wonderful people. And so these kind of scare tactics, people jumping in and grabbing people out of restaurants and at the courthouse when they're coming to try and be citizens, there has to be protest. And the protest has to be peaceful, of course. But we have to stand up and say, these are part of our people. These are our people. This is our family. And you can't just come in here, act like you're liberating us with your scary guns and your scary camouflage and your scary armor, masks on your faces, and take away our community. Tomorrow there's a No Kings March going on down in Los Angeles, juxtaposed against a horrific display in Washington, D.C. of tanks and military and just grossness. But we're going to be standing here saying we're here in solidarity to say, no, this is not what we want. And clearly it's not. Our elected officials don't want it either. So I think we need to breathe. Ginelle is here. Hoy. Yeah, let's breathe. I want to say thank you to the Patreons. This is a place, obviously, like I said, where we take a break from the crap. But, obviously these things have to be said. But let's take a break from that and say thank you to all the Patreons: Howard Aronin, Mike Knox, Todd Lee, Camila Lopez, Liz Lopez, Robert Lopez. These are the people that fund this show. This show's been going on for over 5 years. Jay Patterson, Ivy Palma, Pam Palmieri, Neil Phillips, Seth Word, Jason Edelman, Mary Marks. I'm getting a message from my guest now. Internet. She's just having internet issues. It's fine. I'm going to say, take your time. See you soon. We like to have live interviews on this show, which of course makes it sometimes difficult if there's an internet issue. Hoy Jose Salas, Hoipi Commando Freude. Let's breathe. Okay, here we are. This is the breathing section of the show. We always breathe on this show. The reason that we breathe is to calm down our nervous system. A lot of times as a comedian, because we have a lot of comedians on this show. As a comedian, when you're about to go on stage, sometimes you're so hyped up. And you don't want to get up there, pick up the microphone. You want to have a lot of energy, but you don't want to get up there and just talk really fast, blow through your punchlines, blow through the rhythm of comedy, blurt out things rather than let them come out naturally. So a lot of times the best way to do that is to take 3 deep breaths, which is ancient practice, goes back thousands of years. So let's do it. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. One more time. In through the nose, out through the toes. Let it go. I feel better. I don't know about y'all. Behind me is Healing Vibrations. Healing Vibrations is a channel that we like to promote on this show. Hopefully they like us to promote it. I think they do. These guys have been on the show. But years ago now, Travis Schumacher, that's his cat. We love cats on this show. That cat's name is Perseus. And he sits ever so quietly through hours of sound bowls. Wanted to just bring this on as well. This is you know each one of them. Oh, that's me talking to someone about manta rays. That's not what I wanted. But there is a one. This is Martina Wing. I wanted to show you. Martina Wing has a an organization that sponsors manta rays, and they go night swimming in Hawaii and commune with these manta rays. I'm going to show you this clip. What the hell? This is from last week. You know each one of them. You have names for each one of them?
Yeah, that's Vicky Ray right now. That's
you can tell just from looking at it, right?
Yeah,
like
I
this.
named a lot of them.
Can you
That's
tell that
Nick
one?
Ray. Nick Ray. It's probably Big Bertha's baby, but that's maybe just a story. I cannot prove that.
How do you tell them apart?
Well, if you look at the underside of a manta ray, I'm going back to my thing.
All right.
There are the gill slits on each side.
Yeah.
And there's a spot pattern between it. So this one has just three stripes, you know.
Oh yeah.
But if you keep looking and watching the video, you can see most manta rays. I mean, all manta rays have different spot pattern. It's like a fingerprint.
Really?
And we have a nonprofit in town that has a database of 320 manta rays identified over. The catalog is like 30 years old.
That's cool. So that's Martina Wing. She was on the show a few years ago, and she is just an amazing person that communes with these manta rays, and they each have personalities. They're like, I don't know, they're like her friends. It's the coolest thing. She also has meditations. That's what I wanted to bring up on the show, is that she also does these manta ray meditations. If you go over there and you join, you maybe donate something to manta rays. It's cool. It's a cool thing to do, but also you get these meditations that are really amazing, which I can't show you right now because I don't have it. But what I am going to show you is a curious armadillo going on a hike. This is from the Oregon Zoo. This is an armadillo hiking in the woods. A lot of times when you're waiting for your guest to show up on the show, you might be like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with this time? I think maybe I'll watch an armadillo hike in the woods. Or, if I'm really adventurous, yeah, he's really moving. Who knew that they ran so fast? And what about this? This is the Oregon Zoo as well. This is a big Asian elephant celebrating a big birthday. And you know, when you're an elephant, everything's big. Similar to my guest on the show today, she's from Texas. She's from Dallas, Texas. Everything's big there too. So I don't know what the next. I wonder that armadillo packed any gorp. Oh yeah, gorp. Gorp is a substance that you bring on a hike, and it helps you stay nourished. One of the things about gorp, or trail mix as they call it, trail mix, is that they're really high calorie, right? And so they're high calorie because you want to be able to carry small things while you're hiking, and be able to eat them and be super nourished by them. And the problem is, people that aren't hiking eat gorp and they eat trail mix, and they end up just getting really fat. So that's my piece of advice to you out there. Don't eat that stuff unless you're going on a hike. Because otherwise, you're just gonna get look at this porcupine. Wonderful. By the way, my guest today packed some gorp, I'm sure, when she went up into the Himalayas. Anyone in the chat room? Himalayas? I don't know which one it is.
More black.
She went up there to climb Mount Everest. She also went to Africa and climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I know. So I'm sure she's going to get that internet going. Oh, let's see what's going on now. Says she needs to be let in. Okay. Thank you. She's here. She's totally here. I'm so excited to have her here. Oh, good. I see her lovely face. Right now we're looking at some rescued cougar cubs. And, let's get into the show now. I know this has been really fun and everybody's really feeling good now, but now we're going to have our guest. Let me just see what happens with these cougar cubs. Wow. They're cool. Oh, here we go. All right, let's get into the show. It's called Interview Friday. My guest today, whom I've talked about a little bit, I met at something called The Hollywood Comedy. And The Hollywood Comedy is it's a place where comedians go work out their material on the mic with other comedians. We try to be as enthusiastic as possible with one another because we're in a dark room with a mic, sometimes in the middle of the day with the sun blazing outside. People talk about really personal stuff. Sometimes people talk about gross things, weirdest things, because we're just trying to work it out. Is this funny? We're just throwing stuff up against the wall. Sometimes we even take stuff out of a hat, just the suggestions, really bad suggestions too, and just try and do it. But it's a great place to be because terrific comedians come through this place. Like when you see comedians in this place and then all of a sudden you see them you look, and they're like these huge comedians that are out there. It's because it's just a great place for us all to go and convene. Sometimes we even laugh. With one another. So this guest that I have, Lina Green, she is a host there. She's also a comedian that comes in, but she's a big on the road comedian, road comic. She's also an actress. You've seen her on Netflix. You've seen her on ABC and HBO Max, BET. She's got her own special. It's called, what is it called? Dads, Demons, and Dildos? No, did I get it wrong? Daddy Issues, Death, and Dildos, which I invite you to watch. I watched it on YouTube. You can rent it there. You can also get it on Amazon, Apple TV, other streaming services. Let's get into this thing without further ado. Ladies and gentlemen, Lina Green.
I used to be bullied a lot, growing up. I was bullied. I was bullied for being a triplet. Yeah. They bully you for that, guys. Honestly, no. My mom used to make us dress alike. I hate y'all, man. Y'all don't know my woes as a triplet. Y'all. My mom used to make us dress alike every day for the first week of school until we went to college. That's why I hate adults that dress alike now. Like couples, I'm like, ugh, y'all nasty. Like, I hate that shit. Like, I was bullied. Like, honestly, like triplets, we get no fucking respect. Like, no fucking, yeah, that's right. I want to talk about my woes as a triplet. We get no fucking respect. Like, one of my friends called me an abomination. That's not right, y'all. Like, literally, and when me and my sister have to do auditions, they're like, can y'all talk at the same time? Oh, yeah, that's so fun. And they're like clapping their hands. I'm like, bitch, this is not fun for us. We're adults. I'm a grown-ass woman.
Yes, Lina. Oh my gosh, Lina, I'm going to bring you on here, Johnny Carson style, coming right in. And there she is. Yes, Lina Green. Yeah. I am so glad to have you here today. feel so honored to have you.
Thank you for having me.
It was a little bit of a harrowing experience as I was trying to figure it out. But then I had the... Then you were trying to get in the room, and I had to admit you in the room.
Yeah, that's
you know, we on Tuesdays we do this show, and it's not with a guest. We do it like I have a co-host. She's another comedian, and we sometimes allow callers to call in.
Oh,
and
that's
we
fun.
have had the most racist crap when just like a kid will come on and the kid looks like totally normal and nice and maybe even talks for a little while like a nice person, and then suddenly says, this one guy said, you want to hear a joke? And then he told the most racist joke. I'm just trying to turn off that button.
It's easy to punch down, and you'll see that a lot sometimes in comedy, because it's just people's fears coming out. That used to bother me a lot when I first started comedy. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
My God. And then I realized a lot of people have a lot of fear, and they need an outlet, and they probably are not big and bad to say it to someone's face, but
they'll go on the internet, on the record, and say the worst. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't. Yeah,
I'm not bothered.
You're right. They're punching down. Punching down is
it's honestly, it's not even punch. Like I'm unbothered.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's punching down. It's just acting out. I think, trying to get a rise out of people.
It's a lot of things, but I say it's fear. A lot of that stuff stems from fear, and it doesn't bother me. I've had so many experiences in my life that I am so unbothered by racism.
You are amazing. Just a multifaceted person, and I see that on the stage when you're talking at the Hollywood Comedy or wherever I've seen you, but you're like always surprising.
I lived a lot of life. It surprises me when artists are like, well, I just folk, this is all I do. And I'm like, you can't, we have to live. We have to.
How else are you going to have stuff to talk about?
I mean, people have their lives and stuff, but I don't have like a life. So it's like, I have like a family or a husband or so. It's like, for me, I get to literally just go out and experience the world. And it's really changed my perspective on a lot of things, and I'm grateful to have that, and to be able to do that, and to be able to go out and do comedy or travel or have like these great conversations with people who look different from me. I really feel grateful every day.
And did you have a really large family?
Yeah, so like I talked about, and I'm
triplets
a triplet.
Is something amazing.
And I feel like God made me like this weird entity of a human, so I can be able to talk to people and do the things that I do, because it's just odd. Like being a triplet is odd.
Yeah,
it's even growing up, it was just an odd thing, and people looked at us, and we were stalked in college and high school. Like it was bad. Like things got weird for us. And then moving out here to become like an actress and then doing comedy, it just, it made things even more a little bit like, oh
More
God, this
weird.
is an interesting life to just be living. So
Did you and
it's
your sister come out here together, or you're both actors? You have one sister who's an actress as well. I don't know
yeah.
what your other sister does, if she's
My
an
other
actress
sister
too.
writes books. She
She
has
writes
like
books.
that are
Wow.
she was her mentor was Mark Cuban, and she did like marketing and stuff. So
Wow.
she's the adult version of
She's
us.
an adult
she,
version, definitely.
she's like, hello, how are you, girl? Oh, you artist. She didn't talk like that.
That's she
I
thinks
did it
like
when
that. Maybe that's the voice in her head.
that's how I imagine
Oh,
her. Like,
lovely little artist that you're
you
doing there.
artist. She did come out here and meet some of our friends, and she was like, look at your little artist friends.
Oh, that's
What?
hilarious. I have a clip of you and your sister, your actress sister.
Oh, what clip is this?
There it is.
Hi, Lina. I was looking for you to walk the carpet. Yeah. Sorry. I love it. We haven't seen each other since now to New York. So yeah, it was just an incredible time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Well, tell me, this is how they have the fashion in here. It's really like that.
Everything was like so specific and trying to represent like all different types of walks of fashion and natural hair and just an appreciation for it. So I can't wait to see it because this is my first time seeing the film too. So
I know, it's exciting.
Oh my gosh! So that movie is a movie on Netflix called Perfect.
Fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, the perfect fine.
Oh my God! And so
Rom-com.
you're both in it.
Yeah, we're both in it. We're both in it, and it was a really great experience. A good friend of mine was the director, and
Yeah.
they shot it in New York, and it was just really an amazing
Perfect
experience
find.
to be
Perfect
part of.
find on
The
Netflix.
perfect find. And yeah, I hadn't seen my sister like in like a year or so before.
It was
And
so exciting to watch you
I
two
didn't know she
together.
was coming like at
Really?
all. And so I saw her and like they were interviewing me about the movie. And I see her and I'm like, oh hi. And it's like that weird moment where
Yeah.
your sister
I
is
love
looking
that
at
though.
you, you're like
It's fun.
so
So fun.
it
The
was
you and your sister, did you come out to Los Angeles together? How did this happen? And what was that like being like together?
We drove from Texas, Dallas,
Yeah.
Texas, in our cars, our Suzuki, black Suzukis. We had matching cars.
Really?
We followed each other down. We drove for 24 hours. It was the scariest drive of my life. I think I cried like twice.
Why were you in a hurry or something or what?
We didn't want to stop, and it was just like, let's just go straight. And that was a bad idea. Like
Yeah.
we should have stopped and rest and whatever. But we just drove through, and I was like, we can't go back. Like
Yeah.
we can't. I was like, we're not going back to Texas. So
That's great. When was that? Was that like how I don't know, how many years ago?
God, it had to be like a decade almost now.
Really?
Had to be.
And were there other people in Dallas, Texas that you knew that were like actors and comedians and that kind of thing?
I didn't get into comedy until recently, but what I did know some actors, but people in Texas, they don't tend to leave. So I remember one of my best friends, she stopped being friends with us.
Oh
She was
no.
like, y'all leaving? We're
'Cause
like,
you
yeah,
left.
I don't want to die here. Like, I want to go and see the world.
Well, your
So,
mom was a police officer, right?
yeah,
Wow.
she was retired by then. She was the detective.
She was a
For
detective.
35, yeah, she had got a promotion, and she was a detective. She was a police officer for like 30, 25 years and then a detective. And
Really?
so with the Dallas Police Department, if you want to know racism,
What was that like having a mom who was with the Dallas Police Department?
it was crazy. They were I've tried to talk about this more because especially what happened with out here with Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I grew up in a police family, and that was really hard for me to kind of compartmentalize like how this organization, these people are perceived, and and in the world that I lived in, this was what put food on our table, and this is who we saw every Christmas.
Hmm.
We like we're part when you're in a cop family, you're always in a cop family, and
Yeah.
you're part of it's called a family,
Uh-huh.
and you spend Christmas with these people, and not perfect people, no one is, but it was really hard, like to see, and I'm like, not all, not, and I've had to have these conversations. I did have a joke. I think it's at the end of my special about being in a cop family and like what my experience when my mom passed away. So it was just one of those things that was really tough and weird to navigate. But I'm glad we're having conversations about because I did see, like you did see bad cops. You did
Hmm.
see that.
Yeah, you
And
did.
you also saw really good ones. And I think it's important to highlight people are not bad or good, they're both. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at now because I've always had like this, it was always good or bad growing up in my family, with my mom being a cop and she was also an ordained minister. So
Wow.
it was like good, bad, good, bad. And I was obsessed with that. I've been obsessed with good and bad my whole life. And now after coming back from Mount Everest, I'm like, oh, we are all both so equally, and we just have a lot of work to do as human beings. So it's just been like a journey for me in dealing with that, and then having my own belief systems and coming out on the other side of it. So yeah, I don't even know how I got on
No, that's so interesting. So going to Mount Everest, first of all, you're for some reason you have decided to climb large mountains. You climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. You went to
for some
Everest, and I
reason.
want to talk about this because it terrifies me. But you said that in doing that, you had like a spiritual kind of
Oh yeah, you
epiphany.
can't. Yeah, you can't do you if you do something like that and you come back the same, you're not doing the work. At that, people told me I was glow. Like people said that I was glowing when I came back, and I could feel it emanating from me. It was quite an extraordinary. Like all of those climbs have been extraordinary because you're going to third world countries. You're being with people who don't even speak the same language as you, but you're connecting with them on such a deep level.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful. I sometimes I think about my life and I just laugh. I'm like, I'm so fucking grateful that these things came to me. I didn't go seek them out. They literally came to me when I needed them. Like my mom had passed away
Hmm.
and I was going to explode. Like my body couldn't contain my soul anymore at one point. I needed something. And Machu Picchu was my first one in Peru. And that was such a beautiful experience. I was like, every year I'm just gonna keep doing these climbs. And I go with meetup groups of people who mostly all white and older, way older than me. And they look at me and they're like, who do you think you are? At first, there's always
Really?
like that
Yeah.
moment, like, who are you? Why are you here?
Huh.
And then they understand, like, oh, this is a person who is really in search of something. And I think on the top of a mountain, you learn a lot. You learn a lot on the top of a fucking mountain.
Is it about perspective? Is it
Those
about
are in the fall. Those are in the
yeah,
fall.
that's
Play with
right.
them. It's really
Those are cool.
cool. Yeah.
Um, is it the climbing of the mountain? Is it the looking out over the world? Is it the camaraderie?
Oh,
What?
it's all of it. It's the climbs are so hard that it's a physical exertion to your body that you don't usually do in everyday life. Like you're pushing your body there. And I work out and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's a different way of working out.
Hmm.
It's a different way of pushing your body. And then the camaraderie with strangers. Like I don't go with people I know. I go by myself, and we're doing hard stuff. So we end up having to really get to know each other on a deeper level, and
Trust
we're
each
people.
other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, trust. You have to, because like things have, like sometimes you fall off, like someone has had to grab me, and this stuff is not like easy stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's something that you really have to put your focus on, and it really helped me like connect my mind, body, and soul together. Every time I do one, I come back a little bit more whole. As you know, as a comedian, you're like, You're using your comedy to try to figure out things, and it's your mind is everywhere. And these
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
it's like
Oh yeah.
these kind of. I wish there were more things that people could watch to see how comedians have to live our lives and the way our brains are working all the time, and it's fucking it makes you go crazy. Like I don't know how people can just hit it.
Yeah, I almost feel like it becomes an organizational task. Like
Yeah.
when you first start doing comedy, it's just about like, can I stand up here and do 5,
Yeah.
6 minutes of comedy and survive
Yeah.
and not be completely humiliated and maybe get some laughs. But after
Well,
you do, yeah,
For me, my first comedy show, I started at the end of the pandemic and I didn't get to do it, and I was in a class and they had shut everything down. I asked the teacher, I was like, can I just do the show?
Yeah.
Can I just do the show
Really?
without like, yeah, and it was at the Improv, and I didn't know anything about comedy.
and you were
I
just
didn't-
like, I just want to get to the end.
I'm just like, I just need to talk. My mom just died, and I didn't know
Wow.
really anything. Grow up watching. I watched Lucille Ball and
Yeah.
like I watched like TCM. I would stay up. I loved like acting and dancing and
Yeah.
stuff. So I didn't. Comedy was like through Lucille Ball and like comedic actors and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And so when I came to LA, and it took me a while to like even find this unique art, this unique. People are like, stop! I'm like, it's a unique art.
Are people like, stop calling it an art?
I'm like, just stop! And I'm like, it
'Cause
is
there
art.
are people that are just adamant about it not being an art.
I'm like, it's art.
It's
fucking
definitely art.
beautiful art.
Yeah.
It's the way that your brain can. It's a young art too. It's very fascinating to me. And so asked the teacher, I was like, can I do the show? And she was like, here, we'll jump on a Zoom and you can just tell me what you want to do.
Whoop. I don't know why they're applauding, but they got really excited. Sorry.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
So the Improv was my first show, and I remember being so scared. I sat down the first 2 minutes. I was like shaking, and I
Really?
and I didn't know it's a full house.
Is this
and, like,
before you went on stage? You were shaking, or
No,
when
this
you
was on stage.
on
This
stage?
was-
Yeah.
I remember this so much because I don't think anybody could. I asked, they were like, couldn't tell you were nervous. It didn't look like, but I was so fucking nervous.
Yeah.
I sat down, and now I hear that, oh, if you sit down, you're like, what? That's a flex. And I'm like, I was just like, my legs were shaking. I needed to sit
Don't you
down.
hate it when other comedians tell you what you can and can't do? I mean, that just makes me nuts. You're like, hold the mic, don't hold the mic. Anybody, keep it in the stand, don't keep it in the stand.
It's bad at stage etiquette. Like, I'm doing
Yeah.
this to the and I'm like, why am I? Clearly, I haven't gotten any in a while. So, like, and I have to tell
Seducing the audience.
bad stage etiquette. Like, people like you, because sometimes I don't even like to take it out the mic.
Yeah.
But that day, I think that day I was shaking so bad
Yeah.
that I left it in the stand. And
Yeah.
I remember the teacher was like, make sure you move. And I was like, fuck that. I just need to like get the words out. And I'm sitting here, and then finally, like 2 minutes in, I was like, oh, this is nice.
Oh, good. So you dropped into a groove like right away.
I was like, I'm really proud of that show. My first show, being at the Improv on the main stage.
Yeah.
And it was a really, like, even my friends were there and they were like, that was really good. And I was like, oh, I love this. This is fun. This is what, Matt, wow, I get to like, ooh, I felt something there. There was something in the air.
That's
it was
good
like-
too, because you had like like we talk about as actors, you had an objective, an intention to communicate what you were
Yeah.
feeling to the audience, which is so much
Yeah.
more important than just trying to get laughs.
Yeah, the laughs are important. Yes, it's
Right.
comedy.
Yeah.
But man, when you have like, especially early, I had so much angst, and I didn't have a lot of people to talk to about what I was going, and it felt like the audience was a personal friend that I could talk to, and they got it. And I remember that so succinctly because I'm like, I remember I used to say, y'all are my friends. And I know I don't know y'all, but my God, you make me feel so comfortable on this stage. Y'all are my friends. And I will never forget that moment because I never felt hurt in my life. I was the youngest of triplets and I didn't feel it. I always felt like I had to yell to get some attention or to be seen. My sisters are dynamic creatures. And it was always, I was the youngest needing to be seen. And that day I was like, oh my God, I'm being seen. That feels good.
Yeah. It does. It feels really good. And that class that you first took, did you skip to the beginning, skip to the end, or did you go through the class?
I couldn't go. It was during COVID, so
So you couldn't even do it. Yeah.
So I couldn't do the class, but I was just so grateful to her, Leslie Wolf.
Yeah.
She let me do that, because I had email. I was like, can I at least do the show, please?
Yeah.
I know we didn't finish the class, but I really want to just.
See. That's great though, because your comedy is so you. A lot of times you tell stories. It's very personal. It's sometimes, like when I was looking at clips for this show, sometimes your clips are much longer because you have so much going on in them. You don't just have like setup and punchline. You have like a whole thing, and you also have this great ability to include your audience, like just what you were talking about, like they're your friends, regardless of who they are, because a lot of times
I love it. I have a love for people, and I think that's where sometimes you could feel that it's an energy thing. Like I definitely, something that I do love about the energy thing is what just brings me back, because as you know, it's a hard I've seen grown men who've been doing it for say it on stage. Hey, I have to say it's a hard job.
Yeah,
it's a hard job, but that energy exchange it's like a drug. It keeps you going right back.
Yeah,
because it's you know where you're gonna get that like that intense energy exchange, and it's I don't know, it sustains you until you get your next hit.
It really does. It really does. You've gone pretty far in a short period of time too. How would you attribute, like, you're touring? I want to see, like, I had a poster here of one of the
I'm doing with my crew. We did this last year. We did New York and some of the East Coast,
Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, and I love it. Like, we always have, so we're all so different, like the United Colors of Comedy. We're all so different, and we're going to Canada now. And it's just been a great ride because, you never know when you're gonna start doing something. Like, I didn't know I was gonna do an hour, but I don't ever tell myself I'm gonna do something. I allow the universe, and someone came up to me, a director, and was like, hey, should we do this? And I was scared. I was like, I don't really want to. I don't really want to. To be honest, I was like, I don't really. And then I was like, this might be fun. And that's kind of my take on shit now. It's like, this might be fun. This might scare the hell out of me, but it could be fun. And even if it's not, I'm gonna learn something. And that was the scariest. Like, you can't tell the 3 minutes into that hour, I forgot the whole set.
Is this your special?
Yeah.
So
3 minutes to it, I forgot.
You just blanked. You just blanked out. What did you do? I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. Did you edit it out?
It was so many people, and I was like, oh my God. And there was like some people that I know, like comedian, and I was like, oh my God, there's so many people. And then I had to crowd work, and everybody knows I hate doing crowd work.
Yeah, you don't really do that, right?
And I'm like, hey, and then I'm like, oh, then I remember, and I'm like, all right, shut up now. Back to me.
That's hilarious. I would never have guessed that. Just like,
I know,
sometimes
like,
we have these experiences as stand-ups that are not the experience that the audience is having. It doesn't really matter how we're feeling a lot of times.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting with the audience, because there was one time when I was working on some dad material that I cried on stage.
Really?
Like my eyes got wide, and only my friend saw it.
Yeah.
Only he saw it.
Yeah.
And that was a cool moment. I was like, oh, they didn't see me like almost fucking cry.
Wow. Here's the poster for that. Now, you did this at UCB. Is that where you did it?
I did it at the UCB stage, and that's my place. I love UCB.
Did you do improv there as well, or?
Yeah, I did improv there. I used to do works. I used to live at UCB
Really?
before the pandemic, and then things
And that's
changed. But
Upright Citizens Brigade for people that don't know what that is.
such a great community for comedians and actors and improvisers. It's just a great community.
Is that how
But
you got into doing comedy from being an actress?
yeah, I tell it in the special. I was auditioning for a lot of sexy roles, and I don't give sexy. Like people are like, and this guy, and he was the third person. He was like, "You should do comedy." And when I hear things in threes, there's a
Yeah.
333 number. I'm a third. I
Yeah.
just I'm the three. I'm number three of three, and we were born in the month of three. So
Wow.
333 is like so when people tell me things in three, I do it. So that guy was the third person who was like, "You should do comedy," and I was like, "Fine."
Do you
All
have
right.
you have a bit about that, right? Where you're like, you were supposed
Where,
to do like a
yeah,
sexy scene and you did it.
he just starts laughing. I'm doing this sexy scene, like, and this guy is laughing so hard, and I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? I am
Yeah.
being sexy here, and he's just like, this is a serious scene too, and I'm like, okay, I won't do sexy for anyone else.
That's great. And so that's when you were like, is that when you said, I'm going to do sketch comedy, or I'm going to do?
No, that's when I had been doing like improv and stuff, but then I attempted to try to go to mics. It like I don't know how you started, but I went to a mic and I would leave,
Yeah.
and then go to a mic and leave.
Oh,
Like,
really? You wouldn't get up
then
there.
I would just go and then I would freak out and leave. And then the last one I was gonna leave, this comedian, a really well known, I won't say his name.
Okay.
He goes,
Why
"You're
not?
gonna
Why
be-"
won't you say his name? Is he going to say something negative?
But no, he said something. He goes, "You're gonna be." We were in the elevator and I was leaving.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm not gonna do it." And I was just talking I was just like to myself, and he looks at me. He goes, "You're gonna be great." And I said, "What?" He goes, "You're gonna be great. Don't let fear." And I don't know if he knew I was running or what.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was that made him just look at me, zone in on me, and say, "You're gonna be great."
Wow.
And I was just like, and I never forgot that. I was like, "Oh, thank you." And I was just like, and so then the next time I went and I stayed and I just got over the fear of people.
You don't want to give that comedian the credit of like,
I'm trying to actually remember.
oh, yeah, okay. That's all. Because sometimes people are like, I don't want to name drop. And they're kind of like, why not? I don't understand. What difference does it make? Karen Haber said that Robin Williams told her to do stand-up.
You never know who the universe. I love Karen, by the way.
Yeah, she's
But you never know who the universe. I'm very like into that spiritual stuff. Like the universe speaks to me all the time, and I fucking listen now. I
Yeah.
used to be like, "Shut up, pick somebody else."
Well,
But
that's really important, really important. And sometimes also you get too scared, like, when you hear that calling. You said that the mountains called you in some way. How did you get to the mountain? I don't want to go back to the mountains, but I just want to find out, like, well, how do they call you?
Well, the first one I did was right after my mom died.
Yeah.
And it was a pandemic. It was Black Lives Matter was happening. I was at the lowest. I remember being on the ground crying, like I will not survive this. And then I'm in a lot of meetup groups just because I like to try out different things. And one of my meetup groups it's called I wanted to do something but not alone or something like that. It's like, and it's full of just like quirky people. They were like, "We're going to Peru to trek up to Machu Picchu," and I was like, something was like, "Do it,
Really?
do it." And then I was like, "No, I've never done that. That there's a lot that entails. Like, no,
Yeah.
this was like a week and a half with strangers in another country. Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
And then I made the mistake of telling other people. They were like, "Don't do that. They're gonna kill you." And people kept telling me, "They're gonna kill you in the mountains." People are crazy. Like, I'm like, God, human beings are insane. They were like, "Don't go, don't go." And literally, I almost didn't go. But then universe was like, "Do it."
Camel says, what's a meetup group? What is a meetup group?
Oh, you don't know what a meetup group is?
Is that like something online?
It's something online where you can, if you don't have like friends who want to do like things like go to Comic-Con or go like, it's like weird different things. Sometimes it's just like meeting up with people,
How
just
fun.
strangers. And
Wow.
so you can connect with people.
Wow,
You
what a
know?
great thing. What a great thing, because first of all, people that are that outgoing that would go to a meetup group seems like they would have a lot of friends.
Yeah, well, no, if you ever go to meetup group, you'll see we're you're like, oh, that's why y'all are in meetup groups. Okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Y'all are trying hard to really make friends. No, it's great though. Like I was doing it for camping and stuff. I would meet up with people and go camping, which is, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, that's odd too, but let's go into the woods, strangers.
Exactly. Sounds like the beginning of a horror movie.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Then I just escalated into other countries, and I'm like, this sounds fun. No, but like it was just a really great experience. So then I went to Kilimanjaro with that same meetup group, and then and it's different people every time, and then they sent out for Everest, and I was like, I'm down. Like at first I was like, maybe that should be my last one, but I was like, no, I'm down for this. Like, let's go. So I'm just saying yes to a lot.
It's
And
really good. You
I
know,
know,
Kamala says we learn that people that do things like that are happier than other people, because there's this course on happiness where there's at Yale.
At Harvard?
At Yale. Yeah.
Oh, there's one at Harvard that's the most popular course.
Well, I think that's the Yale one, because it's the most popular course at Yale.
Oh, there's one at Harvard.
Oh, maybe
'cause I
that-
heard
maybe
the guy who actually teaches it.
Oh,
who,
really?
Yeah, he was talking about, he goes, people love his course, and
Yeah.
he's actually a nice man, and he has like several books about being
Oh, so
happy.
there, it's wild. So yeah, one of the things that they discovered was that if you talk to strangers, they always tell you not to talk to strangers when you're a kid, but if you make a practice of talking to people on the subway or talking to people, in an airplane or whatever, that you're actually happier. But a lot of people are like, I don't want to do that. That sounds horrible.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's uncomfortable.
it's so uncomfortable. But it actually makes you happier going down the road.
When I'm in another country, people come up to you because they want to practice their English too. So they'll be like, hey, can I just talk to you? It is so wonderful. And I'm like, my God, dude, a lot of them they have little, and they have so much fullness in who they are. And like, I bond with the Sherpas every time. I'm like, I'm in love. I fall in love with every single, like, I'm in love with you every time.
I mean, they're taking care of you.
Not just that, but they have this richness to them because they've been exposed to so many people.
Yeah.
And their job is to really get to know these people who they're taking up a mountain. They have a richness to them that I find just beguiling. I'm like, tell me more about your life. Like
Kamala says you should go to India, but you know what? Here's a
went to
clip.
India.
Here's a clip.
I think I'm trying to encourage more people that look like me to travel more, because when I travel, like, people be mistaking me for people. Like, I went to India last year, and y'all, I loved it. And one reason why I loved it so much is because they thought I was Rihanna. Like, people were running up to me like, Rihanna, Rihanna. I was like, oh, hey. Y'all, I was kissing babies and shit. Like, they was loving me. Like, I can go anywhere. Like, they're like, I'm loving this girl. Like, they thought I was Beyonce in Poland. I was like, no, y'all. Sorry to disappoint y'all. What next, Montana? They gonna be like, we don't ever see people like you here. No, it was like crazy and stuff. And I almost got arrested out there. Like, it was nothing like heavy or anything. It wasn't for drugs or anything, because I ate all those on the plane. I was so high. Think about being super high on a plane going to India, and you're like, whoa, they all look like me. Like, whoa. Like, it was crazy. No, but if I did get arrested, the headline would have read, Rihanna gets arrested in India. So
I love that. That's
God, I said that. The joke is completely different
yeah,
now.
I wondered about that. I was thinking, like, I'm gonna show this clip and she's gonna tell me it's different. Isn't that wild?
It's not even the same. Wow, I'm glad you showed me that, because I'm like, wow, that joke is completely different now. Love the evolution of like that's that was really great to watch, because I've never done it like that ever. ever.
You know,
in the
it's
show.
weird because people, when we first started putting our comedy online, you know, most of us were like, I'm not putting my comedy on, then nobody's going to come see me on the stage. But it's really interesting now because people are more and more just putting their work online, that even in its nascent state, you know?
Yeah.
And it actually, I think, is very entertaining to go through and see how people develop.
How it evolves.
How it evolves.
I do it mainly for me though. And I put it out there because someone was like, well, most of the time women don't like to put their clips early on because there's this like, and I'm like, oh no, we just want to, it's our thing. It's personal and but then I was like, you know what? I want to see what people think. I want to see the evolution.
Yeah,
of it.
you can get immediate response, especially from those shorts. You can put them out there. They're like, there's a million of them, and they live and die really fast. And you can see, like, is this something that resonates with people?
Yeah, and when you share, you never know what. Like, I remember when I was talking about my mom, like, people would come up to me like, "Thank you for talking about death." So many people's parents had died during COVID.
Yeah,
that like people needed to talk about it, and you get a conversation started when you just put it out there. And I know we're all like, it's an ego thing sometimes. It's like, should I? Do I think, am I funny enough? I am who I am. You leave it or take it. I'm gonna still keep trekking on. Like
yeah. I mean, it's you can even go back and look at your old stuff and go, oh, I'd like to put that little part back in. You know, too.
Yeah, like it's funny. I'm glad you showed me because I was like, oh, I totally. So yeah, it's true. Like,
Kamala said, where did you go in India?
Huh?
Where did you go in India?
I went to Delhi, Accra.
You went to the Taj Mahal.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I went to several places. I loved it. I was obsessed. I was just like the clothes. Everyone had these beautiful clothing.
It's so wonderful. I'm actually a citizen, overseas citizen of India. Yeah.
Oh wow.
My mother-in-law is Indian, from India, and we were able to get that. So yeah, it's really amazing.
I want to go back. Do you go?
Well, yeah, we haven't gone since COVID, but we used to go. We're going to go back in 2 years for our anniversary.
Oh, it's a beautiful place.
We had a wonderful time going there for an anniversary of ours where we brought all our friends there and did yoga, and we were in Goa on the beach.
Yeah. Oh.
But also my first experience was in 2000, and I went to southern India. I went to northern India as well, but we went down to southern India where my mother-in-law is from, and I mean, in her village, they'd never seen anybody like me before. So I had that same experience where people were just coming up to me, like blessing me, and you know, when I first hit Delhi, people would come up to talk to me in the street, and I'd be like, you know, thinking they were going to rob me because I was so used to like being in Europe or wherever I was where they, you know, people rob you, and no, they were just genuinely interested, you know.
Yeah, that's something that's so fascinating to me. Like, and there's a warmth in other countries that you really like. I just wish we could find that here with all of our abundance. People come up to me, they're like, "You're so lucky to be born in America," and I'm like, I do feel that, and I'm like, yes, we are so lucky, but we have so much work we need to do.
So much work to be done.
For that connective tissue that happened that they have, like going to Nepal. It was such a beautiful thing, this bringing together different cultures, and they existed together in a way where it was like there was no animosity. It was just like this love and namaste. We said every time you pass someone, it was namaste, namaste. It was just beautiful. I don't know why I'm doing that, but it was.
I like it though. I like it. I think it's a really important time to be talking about that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is. It's a time for us to just get whatever animosity we have to. I don't know what it is. Like, oh, you look different from me. I'm angry. I don't know what it is. It's weird to me. I'm trying to understand.
I don't understand
humanity. It's just, I don't think I'm going to
I think what you're saying is fear. It's fear.
It's fear. Yeah.
And then the fear is being stoked by all this weird misinformation and imagery. Yeah. And it's
people just take what they
people are just pressing on the fear button because they They get money out of it.
Yeah.
I think what it is.
Yeah.
The animals out there in politics and corporate whatever are pressing on the fear button because the money keeps coming out.
Yeah.
And it's causing a lot of hate.
It's unfortunate. I hope we get past this, but it's going to take a lot of people waking up and realizing like this could be the downfall of humanity if we don't get this together. I'm really trying to, because I've just going to other climate change is a real thing. It's people who are deniers. I'm like, I don't understand. Like I've seen this. Like it's like even in Nepal, like they had to ground several people because the weather was just getting, and they've never seen it that bad, like that hit after hit after hit. I don't know what's going to happen to us if we can't come together and figure out what our differences is and how we can use them to actually make this world better and save it. I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic.
You have to be, but it seems kind of difficult right now.
Yeah. We have a lot of work to do, and it's
so much work to do. We're running out of time, but I wanted to tell you how much I appreciate you coming on the show. It's really wonderful of you. And also, I wanted to ask you about these tours that you're doing, because a lot of times comedians, they don't know how to get to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they don't know what it looks like when you do it, because you go out and you kind of do it on your own. So can you give us a little insight into like how that happens and how like comedians can?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, like as a comedian, you're doing a lot of this stuff. Like you're out there pounding the ground and you know getting yourself out there. It's just so much work, and it's basically like reaching out and like finding bookers, doing mics and stuff. Like me and Jason Schuster, who kind of like organized this together in the one last time, we met people in mics, and some of the people were like, you know, some people fall off the wayside, but some of them you keep doing this journey with, and you find like some people have these connections here and these connections here, and it's just reaching out to bookers and clubs and like, hey, this is what I have to offer. Do you have any space for me? I guess. Yeah. And you're just humble about it. You just come in like, do you have any? And sometimes you get a lot of no's.
Yeah.
And then there's those days you get yeses. And it's like putting together something like this was like, oh, you have a diverse group of comedians. I guess people want to see that. And I guess they want to see that out in Canada. So it just came together.
That's
and
so
we have
cool.
this great guy named Vinny who we've been knowing for years through like mics and stuff. And I think that's finding community is kind of how you build up on this type of art form, like community.
Community is huge. It's huge.
Even though you're doing it alone on stage, the community aspect is the biggest part of it.
It's weird. Sometimes you get into it because you're like, I just got to take control because I got to stop worrying about someone else giving me a job. Yeah. And then when you get in there, you realize it's like all about community. But I think
tell people it's like you can't do it by yourself.
You really can't. No, and it's also you have to appreciate the people that put these shows together because it takes so much work to produce these shows.
I was talking to someone about that. Yeah, I was like, it takes a lot of work.
Some of these people, like Vargas Mason and Jimmy Shin, and some of these people that just and Lynn's son and people that just keep doing show after show after show. It's like, how the hell do they do it?
I know people are like impressed with someone like me climbing mountains, but I have the stamina. I'm so impressed with the people who can keep on and make these shows happen, especially during this time. It's so much happening in the world right now. My focus is like all over it. I am so fucking grateful and impressed with people who are like keeping this going, keeping comedy going, because a lot of people need to laugh right now. And a lot of people, unfortunately, get their news from comedians. And
so true.
It's so true. I'm like, geez, Louise. Oh my God.
Do you find yourself talking politics ever on stage?
You know what? At the Ice House, I kind of had to because I think I was the only Black female on that show. And I think I was like, okay, I'll say it. All right. And it was right after that was like the scariest night of my life watching that whole thing.
Oh God, the election.
I was like,
I
what
know.
is happening?
Me too. I was like, what is going on? And then
So I don't normally do, but I have found that as of late, I am a little bit more talking about politics. Just
I find that I need to talk about it sometimes. And
again, you kind of have to. It's because if you don't, it's like, oh, you're trying to go around.
You're trying to go around it. Yeah, you're going around it. Plus,
elephant in the room.
And then to try and make it funny, I find that when I talk about it, even if I have carefully crafted jokes, sometimes it gets kind of silent because people get scared.
Well, because it's a real thing happening.
Yeah, it's like a real thing.
Joke I just wrote about ice. And I'm like, it's and I tried it out and it works. But sometimes like people are in the midst of this shit. And so you got to still be like,
there's that too.
Sensitive.
Yeah.
You still have to have some sensitivity to what, like, people are getting deported left and right. Like it's not directly affecting you. So it's hard for people to really understand things when it's not directly. Mm-hmm. And then when it hits them, they're like, oh, fuck, I didn't know.
Yeah. I didn't expect that. All right. Well, I better end the show. But Instagram, it's Lina Green.
We'll set up here, Joel.
Yeah. Is that the best place to find out what you're doing these days?
Yeah, that's the best place.
There's your schedule that I'm in the way of. It includes that tour.
Yeah. I can't wait. I just think it's a time to just tell our stories, and this is a time for us to just speak upon things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. That's what I think so too. I think we can't be afraid either.
Yeah.
Even if it's not going to be maybe accepted in the same way that we think it's going to be accepted. Sometimes we need to speak our mind. We need to speak our mind.
Telling people, I'm like, we got to push through some of this.
We also got to let people know that we're here,
Yeah.
That it's not just the insanity that's going on.
Yeah.
And I call it insanity. I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, that's insane. I don't care. You can try and look at both sides. I'm done looking at both sides of that issue.
Yeah.
It's wrong. Also, Netflix Perfect Find. You can see you and your sister in that show. And then also, of course, your special, your stand-up comedy special, Daddy Issues, Death and Dildos. All right. At the end, I play a song. I got a song that I'd like to play. It's a very short song. Call it Dance Break. And then we're out of here. Thanks so much, Lina, for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Joe, for having me. This was fun. I love a conversation.
Okay, good.
All right.
This is Michael.
We're gonna ride till we fall. They say we got no future at all. They wanna keep us out, can't hold us down anymore. Gonna ride till we fall.
When we hit the bottom, nothing's gonna stop us. Climb to the top with you. We could be the greatest ones who ever made it. Yeah, I could be talking you. They're trying to hate, but we won't change anything at all. Oh, we're gonna rise till we fall. They think we just dropouts, living at our mom's house. Parents must be so proud, they know it all. They don't speak our language, they say we're too savage. Yeah, no, we don't give up anymore. We're gonna rise till we fall. We're gonna rise till we fall.